Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohort, Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Hopefully, JP's first son, Tim Hoy, will be here any second. And
The new voice of reason.
yeah, well, Russell, the professor Stevens, he cannot make it tonight. So right now it's you and I, Joe, and we've done this many times before over the years. So we'll get it going. We
Okay.
started with the Boston Red Sox. You made a great point.
Comedy of errors.
It's it's feeling like 2011.
Or 2001 with, Carl Everett and all
No,
that
but
stuff.
feeling like 11 with Bobby Valentine. Just
Yeah.
uh, um, it's a train wreck. It's 1/3 of the season done. It looks like we're going absolutely nowhere fast. And now all of a sudden, it's just a Thursday in June, and you got this. Verdugo gets benched for dogging it last night, and I've seen the video, totally dogged it.
Yeah.
In an important situation, would have had first and second with the tying run in Turner up in the plate. And then you got this guy, this journeyman guy that I had not heard of until today, Dermody.
Yeah.
Going to pitch the game tonight. And this guy is, he's put a lot of volatile things on Twitter. He's got some crazy political views, homophobe, whatever. This guy, why is he pitching tonight? Why? And there's controversy because of his pitching. Why? First of all, I ask you two questions, Joe. Why did the organization sign this journeyman guy at 32 years old to be in the minors as organizational depth? And why did they bring him up today to pitch?
Because Heim, he likes to pick over the trash, every other people's trash, and see if he can get something for nothing from them.
I know, but Joe, this guy comes with additional baggage.
With a lot
I
of baggage
the whole
and everything.
concept.
And there's a reason why the other teams won't touch it.
Right.
Heim just thought he was going to get it for cheap and no one would know. And of course, everybody knows nowadays. People, people know everything you ever put on Twitter.
Well, of course, look, you could have 5 followers, and if you put something volatile, somebody's going to take a screenshot of that, and somehow, whatever, if they can use it against you someday, they will. I mean, this guy was a professional baseball player, and he then he shares a lot of volatile tweets. But why? You're only going to get this guy for one start. You're a team that's flailing. Why would you do that? Is Chaim Bloom so tone deaf? And then also, the second question, Joe, does Chaim Bloom put Alex Cora in bad positions constantly?
Oh, the last couple of years, he has really put Cora in really bad situations, especially with the guys he brings up for the bullpen and for these spot starts. It's just, you just trying to make him fail, it seems like. He's trying to make him look bad, and he makes himself look bad in the process by doing this.
Yeah, great point, Joe. Joe, look, I would say the positives to Alex Cora is I think he does a great job in the locker room. I think he handles outside of the game very well. I consider him a below average game day manager. Would you agree with those observations?
I wouldn't call him below average game day manager. I'd say he's an average guy making the moves and whatever. Maybe a little above average. He knows when to get aggressive and make the moves. We've seen that before in the postseason, but you really can't cover up what Heim's been doing. Just been throwing a lot of trash at them. I mean, how many guys have been DFA'd already off the 40 this year? A dozen? Maybe more than a dozen. How do you have that kind of turnover in season? I can see having that kind of turnover in the off season, but a dozen people off the 40 in season, that's just craziness.
Yeah. Team's 500. They're going backwards.
Yeah.
They played poorly. I mean, remember, this is a team about, what was they, 10 games up above 500. They played very poorly for quite a while now. They've actually gotten some great returns from players they didn't know whether, the expectations were too high. And Yoshida's played, he's been an all-star. Turner has been very good. I mean, so there's been guys who have played well.
Verdugo, obviously, ostensibly
Verdugo.
their best player.
See, yeah, we'll talk about Verdugo in a second. Yeah, I'm not completely sold on Verdugo because look, he plays a nice right field, but he has no power, Joe.
Oh, I
He's
agree.
slow.
That's the one thing. He's got a good glove, great arm, good, 290, 300 hitter. It just
Clutch
has
guy,
no power.
no power. And I don't know if you can.
And you want power from your corner outfielders.
You have no,
Obviously.
not just want, Joe. You have to
Yep.
get that in this day and age.
Yeah.
It looks like he'll be another under 15 home run season.
Oh, I'm positive about it.
What does he have? 6, but he's been stuck on 6, I think, for
Yeah.
it seems since April.
Yeah.
All right, look, if things go poorly in the next week or two, does John Henry have enough interest during the course of the season, or does he not give a shit to act on either firing Cora or firing Bloom? Or would he do a complete clean out and fire them both?
Oh, I think it's more like I know Russ is brooded about the possibility of doing the Brad Stevens and kicking Cora upstairs and making maybe one of your favorites the manager. I think that's more likely to happen. Just maybe Hyman Kennedy get the boot.
Oh, well, wouldn't you agree in season,
Clean house in upper management rather than just the game day management.
in season, would you agree this, Joe, that if Corey gets fired, Veritek is the manager?
I don't know, but that would be a fan favorite. Yeah, that would be a move that would be
They're not going
hailed
to bring. They don't.
by the Fenway faithful. It would. I don't know if it would be a good move. I know you think it would be. I'm not so sure it'd be a good move. I don't think he handles people all that well, but yeah, I think it would be a very popular move.
Well, at the very least, he would be just the interim manager for the rest of the season. They usually almost never go outside the clubhouse.
For interim, never.
Interim,
In
never.
any
So,
sport.
yeah, so he'd be the one. And also, you there'd be some hope. Like you said, he's very popular. Obviously, Jason Veritek's a very popular Red Sox.
I would bet he'd be more popular with the fans than with the players.
Well, yeah, well, maybe at this point, yeah, but I mean, it's not like Jason.
I mean,
Alex
you look
Cora
at those
did
catches.
it.
Those catches are terrible. Wong and McGuire, they've been awful the last couple months.
Look,
They neither can hit, neither can play the game defensively. They're making errors all over the place.
well, look, I mean, the game, 3 errors yesterday. I mean, this team has no concentration.
That was a sloppy game. I mean, the Guardians are terrible too. They've been putting up 3 or 4 errors a game in this series. I mean, this has been a slop fest.
Yeah, I don't know. There's certain things, parts of baseball, like the outfield play that we tell you and I have talked about this a number of times. The outfield play across the league and what we've seen at Fenway Park, it's like no outfielders know how to play anymore. They can hardly catch foul fly outs.
They throw to the wrong cutoff man. They do lots of things wrong. Yeah. Bad. There's not a lot of great arms out there anymore.
No basic skills, not. But again, each week we talk about this. What are you going to do with your $300 million man, Joe and Devius? He can't play third base. He's not a major league third baseman. I've never seen it.
Oh, he's been awful. He's terrible at the plate right now.
Oh my
He
God.
is just he's a sad sack out there, swinging at awful pitches, just going down 1, 2, 3. It's sad.
So the whole premise, Joe, that Alex Cora, especially being Spanish and how he relates to the Spanish ball players, he hasn't enthused Devers enough to play even on an average level.
Yeah. I think it's more Devers needs some better motivation. I think he thinks he's doing everything right. He's not. What's he hitting? 240?
Phoniest statistics of all time.
And
His
and
numbers
playing
just
a very
go.
lazy third base. Very
Oh,
lazy third base. He skips every other throw to first base.
he, and he hasn't had one clutch hit the whole season.
Yeah.
He's just flailing away. Look, I mean, part of the reason it's pretty remarkable that they're 500 and their star player has sucked the whole year.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
his RBI total is a joke. The guy should.
He's got a ton of RBIs. I don't know where they're coming from.
Well, they've had a lot of guys on base.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's been batting in an odd place too. He's been batting second a
which is
lot.
stupid. Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. The guy's the third hitter. He's your best hitter.
Yeah.
It used to be when we were growing up, the cleanup guy was your best hitter was the
Power
cleanup
guy.
But that's changed since the 80s, right? I mean, the third
Yeah.
hitter's the guy, right?
Yeah.
You want him up in the first inning.
Batting third is the best all around hitter. He can clean the bases and he can get on for the power guys hitting fourth and fifth.
So why is Devers batting second? Because he's comfortable there,
Yeah, I guess so. He probably told him he likes it there.
right?
He always has. He's been batting there for a long time, a couple of years now. When people have said he should be batting fourth, fifth, nope, batting second.
Okay, so moving forward, Cases is your first baseman. Trevor Stories comes back. He solidifies that second baseman. Valdez has turned into a pumpkin.
He's been bad lately.
Bad, but I mean, we always knew he was a bad fielder, but he hasn't been hitting.
Yeah.
I know you're in this camp, and I know you agree with me, Joe. There's no way Trevor Story's playing shortstop.
From what I seen him last year, he has no arm left. He was having trouble making the throws from second to first, let alone from short.
But there's no reason he's a very good second baseman. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, I think they need someone in the infield who can play.
Well,
They have
coming out.
He's not coming up for another year or two, though.
No, Joe.
You think they'll have him?
Oh,
he might have to. The way Kiki has played, Kiki has led the major leagues in errors right from the opening day. I mean, he's been going wire to wire as the worst shortstop in the league in majors.
What's the reason to keep Mayer away from the Boston Red Sox come opening day of 24? There's no reason.
Because they don't want to turn him into a Bobby Dahlbeck, Tristan Casas, a Jaron Duran the first couple of times he came up. If they come up too soon, they fail.
Mayer's the real deal. I mean, this guy.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope he's more like, Mookie was or Xander was. You bring him up and they're successful.
Yeah. Well, look, Casas has played better lately. His numbers are going to be good. Casas is the real deal too. He is. He's 23 years old, Joe. He's the boy's age.
He's got to show us something. I mean, you can't have a first baseman with no power, no hitting, just can't hit, and has so many strikeouts. He's been striking out a lot lately.
No, but he had 2 doubles 2 days ago. The first game of
one multi-hit game, doesn't make a season,
It doesn't, Joe, but there's signs. He's 23 years old. Come on. He wasn't going to learn anymore in Worcester,
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for Casas. I like Casas. I like him as a fan. I like him and as a person too. As a ball player, I like him much more than I would like someone like Jaron Duran or this comedy character. You like Casas. He's a likable fellow. I want him to do well, but he hasn't been showing anything last year or this year.
That's not true, Joe. You don't. You're a Casas hater. You come just
no. I'm not. I've always been in his camp.
No, that's not true at all.
I think he's got a great sense of the
strike zone. Of your mouth. You're talking 2 sides of the mouth. Come on, Joe. I spent a lot of time with you.
He's got to get the bat off his shoulder.
I just told you he had 2 doubles 2 games ago, and saying okay instead of saying okay.
Wasn't it a single and a double?
No, it hit the wall just because Turner decided to sit on second base and just go one base at a time. He had 2 doubles. instead of saying, "Oh, that's encouraging," let's see what you're ripping on it.
Well, it is. He got the bat off his shoulder. He's been looking for walks too much.
Yes, the
Wouldn't
guy
you
is
say that?
developing in the major leagues. We're just not used to this in this town, seeing guys develop in the major leagues. We want finished products when they come up. Would you agree?
Right. Oh,
Right.
certainly, certainly.
But what now we know that AAA is basically Little League because one Bobby Dahlbeck goes there and he's freaking Babe Ruth. So what value is there? I ask you, there's no difference between AA and AAA anymore.
Not as much, I don't think. I think, they tend to bring their more important prospects up more slowly in
Yeah.
the major leagues nowadays. They spend more time in the instructional leagues than
Yeah,
they used to.
exactly. Yes, right. They're right. Single A. They have two.
More time in development rather than in AAA is almost like showtime.
Yeah, great point. So we have Salem and then uh, Greenville.
Greenville.
They spend a lot of time in Greenville.
Yeah, that's the
Greenville
high
feels
A.
like that's AA to them now.
Yeah, that's high single A, and that probably is the precursor to, the either double A or triple A.
No, no. My point is
Yeah.
that that's now AA.
Yeah,
Same
that's
with
where they want
Greenville.
to spend a lot of time. They probably have their best instructors, best coaches there.
Yeah, AAA is just for like these guys of the world, the Dahlbecks, the guys who could pitch, who could fill in for a night and stuff.
Well, yeah, and AAA they got to make money to keep those viable franchises. They got to give, and they're stocked with a lot of veterans like this comedy guy, guys that just bounce back and forth, never really make it in the majors.
Yeah.
They're loaded with those
So
guys.
you don't think for even a second that Bobby Dahlbeck would come up to the majors and be a different Bobby Dahlbeck than we've seen for 3 years.
Well, you never know because Jaron Duran came up and has been better in this incarnation than he was in the first two times he came up.
No way. No chance.
Bobby, I just don't think he can hit major league pitching. He can devastate. Even when he was here, he would devastate bad pitching. He
Yes.
got to he was a great late inning pinch hitter because he could hit those bullpen staffs good.
He can hit like 89. If you're throwing
Well,
89
he could
miles
hit
an
the
hour.
he could hit the a 96-mile-an-hour
Oh
fastball.
no. Okay,
It
Joe.
just if it had to be like a Caleb Ort one that was nice and
All
straight,
right, maybe that. Okay, I'll
came
give you
right down the pike. It was like a pitching machine.
all right, I'll definitely give you that. What's what's the reason to watch the Red Sox in the rest of the season?
Because it's the Red Sox, it's baseball, it's the summer. That's part of the rhythm of the summer for me. And the Red Sox have always been the hometown team. And I'm going to
No, but
follow
that's not the
them.
answer. Come on, Joe. That's not the question. The question is, why do we want to root for the 23 Red Sox? Not because they exist.
It's not a great thing. I would like to see success for some of the people on that team, like Cassis, like Cora, but some of them no. I you know,
So I think the interesting is Casey's development. And then Yoshida. Just see how Yoshida plays the rest of the season.
he's been such a pleasant surprise, and it's going unnoticed because of the way this team has been awful.
The kid is he's a professional hitter.
And he's gotten much better in the outfield too. He plays the wall like a violin now,
Yeah.
whereas before he's not gotten to the point where he can fake a deke off the wall, and on and off the wall, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
He looks good. He looks good playing. He looks good digging the ball out of that corner. And you've seen guys get triples on that ball just in that lousy left field corner.
He's given an effort. He's a high effort
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, he doesn't dog it 1 second.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. And Heim gets credit for that.
Oh, I got to give him, or whoever the scout in Japan is, because that scout was right. Everyone else in the major leagues, all the other major league scouts were poo-pooing him, saying he wasn't going to make it. He was too small. He's doing just fine.
Oh yeah, and then ultimately even 5 years at 90 million. I know they paid a hosting fee, but who gives a crap about that? That's John Henry's money. That's a good
Yeah.
deal.
Oh yeah, and it didn't cost him anything but money. No prospects, no other players, nothing.
And for
He
a team
came
that had organizational depth wise, other than Rafaela,
zero.
they
Yeah.
had just guys in single A, Blyce and stuff. They needed to plug and play somebody.
Yeah, the only guys they have, coming up are Rafaela and Maya. They're the only ones that look like, going to be major league
Yeah,
players.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I think they're the only two in the top 100
I think
uh,
York just got
prospects.
it. I think York just got in there at 96.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't speak well of the minor leagues and their development.
No, no, they have a lot of stuff in single A. A lot of Blyce. They but who knows? Again,
Yeah.
this
In
is something
single
I
A,
just hear.
99% of the guys in single A never even play a game.
Yeah. But I mean, look, Bello, like I talked about, their prospects are up. Bello is a keeper. Crawford, I like very much. Winkowski, I like very much. Hauk is a keeper. So cases, Yoshida obviously
Yeah.
just came to the Red Sox. So they have somewhat of a core. What are their weaknesses? Clearly shortstop, but that's
Yeah.
Mayor.
But
Anybody else is they're just a holding place for him.
infield defense as a whole is woeful. It's terrible.
Yeah. Would they have all right, if this continues on,
And the thing is, with the new rules, this predicates you having good defensive infielders. You can't count on the shift to do it for you. It used to be the shift took care of that for you. Now
yeah.
guys have to have range. Probably another reason why they got rid of Xander. They weren't
Okay.
going to pay the price.
Are,
But
are we
now
stuck?
Kike has no range. And when he gets it, he drops it. And if he doesn't drop it, he throws it wild. It's ridiculous.
What a terrible plan that was
And
to
he
have.
can't. How many? You can practically count on one hand the number of double plays they've turned this year. They just don't turn double plays.
You can't tell me there's not a guy out in even the minor leagues that they could pick up for cheap who could play a normal shortstop.
Like like one of your favorites, Iglesias.
Oh,
We could have got him for the veteran minimum.
and he would cause and he'd give you some clutch hits.
And you wouldn't have had to pay, say, Duval. You could have had Kike in center, which is more his position. He plays a good center field. I'll give him that.
But as a hitter, he's done.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah. He doesn't look good at the plate anymore. He
no.
doesn't look confident, doesn't look solid. He looks like he's guessing.
Could you get anything for him?
Right now, no.
No, even as trade him as
Not even like a single A prospect.
Were you surprised they got rid of Tapia?
Kinda. I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of I thought he was worthwhile. One thing that's wrecked things up, I thought that Yu Chang was playing a good shortstop when he was here. And then he got hurt right away.
Yeah, but I mean, he's batting 150.
Yeah. Well, I could take it if you're gonna play a good shortstop, you're gonna turn double plays with whoever's at second base. Kike can't play good shortstop. He can't turn double plays with no matter who's on second base.
Duvall comes back. I assume Duran has to. Well, I guess Valdez could go
Well, I think that's why Tapia went. It was because they were expecting Duval back. He's supposed to be back against the Yankees.
for tomorrow. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see Valdez gone.
I think if you're gonna, it depends how many infielders you're gonna keep around. Tapia went because now you're gonna have extra outfielders.
Yeah. Did
But
Tapia get there? Did they try to trade him yet?
I don't think so. I haven't. I'm sure they're probably trying, but
Yeah.
you're not getting anything for
I'd
him
like to see.
unless, unless someone has a rash of injuries and needs, a fifth outfielder.
Be nice if he went to Worcester and they still had him on the roster and the organization.
Yeah, he was a good all-around guy. He did anything and everything he could possibly do to kind of stick, bunting, everything.
Yeah, no, I liked him. I'm but you knew he was gone when they re-upped Ref Schneider.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And Ref Schneider is a better all-round outfield.
oh yeah, he's a nice player. I like
Much,
Ref
much,
Schneider.
he's really coming into his own as a hitter too. He's been a much better hitter since he joined the Red Sox than his baseball card would have,
He's a good outfielder.
led you to believe.
He's a good
Yeah,
fielder.
yeah. He
Ref
makes
Schneider
some
could
nice
have been
plays.
Ref Schneider could have played utility for the Red Sox in my
In the
lifetime.
championship years.
So
Yeah.
if any team the Red Sox had, they would have been very happy with Ref Schneider as a fourth outfielder.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Even every one of the championship teams, there would have been a place for a guy like him.
Yeah, so he had smart, and then paying him 1.85 million. That's exactly in line in a big market team. That's what you pay your utility guys.
And he was happy to get it.
Oh,
You
of
know,
course he was.
he's bounced around from team to team. He knows he's going to be here for another year.
And I mean, 2 million is not life-changing money, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll
Oh, I might consider it life-changing money.
No, but as a young guy,
players.
no, life-changing. You know what I mean? Life-changing mean you don't ever have to work again.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
And if you make $10 million, you could work it so you never work again. If you didn't,
oh yeah.
if you were one of that ilk.
Pop that in the bank and just got 10%.
Yeah,
that's
if you like just to hang out and tinker around in the garage, you could do that. But 2 million, you're still gonna have to go get a job at some point. Joe, they're 31, I think 31, 32, and 32. What's your prediction for the rest of the season win total? Now that you know what you know.
Oh, I've been right on that 81, 81.
Not changing.
No, I'm not changing. I think it's a 500 team. The way the schedule falls, it helps them. Now that they're not playing the Rays, the Yankees, and the Orioles and the Jays 19 times each. Now that they have the balanced schedule, that works in their favor. They get to play the weak sisters a lot more. There's a lot more Guardians and Athletics on their schedule than.
Yeah, but they haven't played well against those teams, Joe.
No? Well, they've done well against the Guardians.
Okay, so they're 4.5.
What they haven't done well against is the National League.
They're 4.5 outside the wild card. With Toronto and LA Angels, and the Yankees ahead of them.
Yeah.
How are you gonna leapfrog those teams? You're not gonna do that.
Yeah, and the Yankees are gonna sell out at the deadline and add big stuff, big names, probably a top line starter, a top reliever, or a big bat. They're not going to cheap out at the deadline. They're going for it.
In recent times, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're better off if you're a seller selling earlier than closer to the deadline.
That's a funny thing. Sometimes you can get a bidding war on like a top reliever, and you can get the teams to bid against each other as it gets to the deadline, and you can extract an extra prospect or two. But if a deal pops up, you take it, even if it's 2 weeks ahead of the deadline. If the right deal comes and you were going to move that player anyways, let's say they were going to move Kenley Jansen. He's got a nice contract. He's signed for another year. That would be a lot of teams might want him. If the deal you want comes 2 weeks before the deadline, you make the deal.
Okay, it's June 8th, trading deadline. I just checked August 1st. When do you, because the moment you trade a piece, you're throwing up the white flag. You're throwing Cora under the bus for another season, and you're pissing off Red Sox.
They did that last year. Remember, the whole clubhouse and Cora was in an uproar last year, and then all the free agents were gone. So and they got him Trevor Story, has been washed up guy.
No, right, no. But the deadline last year was
they should have got rid of. They got rid of Vasquez.
They
but
should
they
have
should
got
have
rid of
gotten rid of
JD,
JD and Valdi.
Evaldi, Walker,
Yeah.
whoever Xander, but they could have got a lot for Xander. They knew they weren't
Yeah.
going to sign, and they could have got a lot for him. That's who the guy you would have got a lot for, and you could
Yeah, they could have had a barrel full of prospects that we'd probably have a sub 500 team this year with all these new faces, young faces, but it would be a team that was building for the future.
But also you could have moved some guys for like a Brian Reynolds. You could have got guys that you got at the deadline. You could have tried to.
Yeah, use them as chips to trade for major league players. Yeah, but that doesn't seem to be Heim's thing. He seems to want to, take care of Worcester before he takes care of Boston.
Yeah, I'm starting to think if Red Sox the next week go 2-5, who gets fired?
I think it's got to be Heim. It could be one of the 4 vice presidents like Harrington and them, or Sam Kennedy, the president. I think it would be upper man. It would be Hyman and maybe a couple guys in upper management. But it's hard to do that in the middle of the season, fire a general manager, because they're not just growing on trees. You can snag another one. Unless John Henry wants to hire from those 4 vice presidents.
Yeah.
Wants to promote someone.
Look who's making an appearance. It's
my apologies, guys. The round of golf lasted longer than expected.
How'd you shoot?
Actually, pretty good. A 40 for 9 holes.
Oh, wow! Look at oh my God! You're going to be in the
LIV
with this. We're going to big picture with Timmy and the Saudis, and then handing him a big check.
I expect nothing less than $100 million. That's the beginning point. Okay.
Let's just talk about that. We're done with the Red Sox, but we have to talk.
Thank God, we're done with the Red Sox.
We have to talk about the PGA. All I'm going to tell you guys is the PGA Tour is a non-profit association.
Not anymore.
That is tax exempt. So I'm going to ask you, Timmy, the first question. I know it's kind of a legal question. How does a non-profit tax exempt organization get sold to the Saudis for billions of dollars?
Wait, who got sold? It's a merger, wasn't it?
No, it's a joke. It was sold. It's yeah.
I mean, you know what? Rory McIlroy left about $720 million on the table because of ethics. Tiger Woods left about $980 million on the table because of ethics. And then they turn around and they just said, oh, never mind.
For you. Yeah.
I mean,
that Monahan was on the soapbox, talking about ethics and morals, and then he sells out.
I mean, no, you know what they made the mistake of? They should have never taken any stance when it happened, because for me, because I want to see all the best players, I'm kind of glad it happened. You know what I mean? Because I want to see the best players. I don't want, that would be like watching Major League Baseball or football. There was 2 football leagues. You know what I mean?
But you can't cave into that shit. I mean, geez, they're a terrorist organization. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put gas in my car every day from Saudi Arabia, so I really don't want to be that much of a hypocrite.
We don't get gas from Saudi Arabia.
I understand. I understand people's stance on it. I do. And I was with the Rory McIlroys of the world. That I stood with them. You know what I mean? I mean, I understood, these guys who weren't even finishing in the top 40 anymore, and someone's throwing $100 million at them.
Phil Mickelson.
Well, not even Phil. There was some lower players too. There was an English guy who dresses like in crazy clothes, and
I know the guy.
He was definitely on the back nine, and they threw him like $150 million. I mean, all he's got to do is show up. You know what I mean? He could shoot a 90 every round. He's still getting his money, and that's generational money. I agree, Scotty. It's the height of hypocrisy what Monahan did. It's absolutely the height of hypocrisy.
I mean, this was as shocking of a news sports story as I can remember.
Well, it's about the only way golf can get in the news. Golf has been a dying sport.
Of course it is.
Oh,
For
Joe, I
decades.
disagree. Everyone that I know that plays golf is glued to the tournaments.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, but the ratings
golf-
have been going down the
Jimmy,
tubes for years. They've been going down 20% a year.
Really?
Golf courses closing all over the country constantly.
Well,
Jimmy,
not around here. Not around here. They're not. It's impossible to get a tee time now, Joe. Around here, let me tell
Yeah,
you that
because
right
so
now.
many have closed.
Look,
Not around here.
golf
Not around
was-
here. They haven't.
golf was a bunch of old white guys watched golf, and then Tiger Woods came, and then it became this hugely popular sport with everybody. Now Tiger Woods is gone, and it goes back to just being old white guys watching it.
Well, I fit the demographic, I guess.
No, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
well, that's why the only their advertiser is like Cadillac and Rolex.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
it's not a good look. It shows you a little preview of the future. The Saudis is going to push the Saudis are going to push themselves into all
Are
these.
they going? Are the Saudis then going to buy the NFL? Like
They're going to buy an NFL team.
they bought into the English Premier League.
Yep, they're gonna, and trust me, once you go down that road, we all suffer.
They might not want to because they don't have advantages in these salary cap leagues. Remember, the soccer doesn't have a salary cap, so they can go in and buy a team and buy all the best players.
Well, I hope
They can't do that in most of the American sports.
Well, one of the reasons they're doing this because they know the oil's going to run out eventually, right? And so they're trying to create other revenue streams other than just pure oil. That's why Dubai, they're trying to build it up so it'll be a place to go even when there's no oil left there.
Well, I hope Biden stops the sale of it. I think it's disgusting. And I hope people, again, the PGA.
Shouldn't there be some kind of antitrust thing?
Yeah, definitely. The PGA, the irony is the PGA depends on volunteers. They depend on volunteers to run these events. And I hope all the volunteers tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, when we worked the U.S. Open, no one got paid you, but there was a waiting list a mile long just to be a volunteer.
That's
because
a different organization.
You got to go in for free.
That's a different organization, Timmy. That's a USGA. This is the PGA.
USGA, yeah.
Yes, the USGA runs the U.S. Open. I just, again,
when I saw it when I woke up, when I was like scrolling through the news and I saw that I said, I must be reading this wrong because there's no way this could be happening. Like it came from so far out of left field.
It's just disgusting, Jimmy. They just threw all these billions of dollars at these assholes and they grabbed it.
Yeah. Well, and golf has always been that way.
This is not capitalism. This has nothing to do with capitalism. I just want to mention this has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
This has to do with it.
You look at the sports the Saudis have gone into horse racing and golf. No salary caps. They can buy the winners.
And look at
not only buy the sport, they buy the winners too.
And they're destroying horse racing.
Yeah, some of those live guys finished really, really highly in the last few tournaments. And I think that the PGA didn't want to lose, like that guy Brooks Koepka,
Yeah.
just won the PGA championship, and that's one of the four major tournaments, and I think the PGA didn't like seeing that at all. I don't know if that was like a little push to get something done. Or...
Yeah, he was only going in a half tournament schedule, whereas the PGA guys have got to do a tournament every week. He's only doing one a month. He was well rested and well ready to go for the PGA.
Well, Joe, you make a great point. Saudis got into horse racing and they destroyed the sport because it's completely corrupt now. And you got horses dying in great numbers, and they just shut down Churchill Downs this week. Hopefully they'll open at some point because so many horses are dying. So Churchill Downs, the main track, is closed.
They'll have all the
golf. Getting back to the golf thing for a second. Now, I mean, I do like this system, but so say 100 guys show up for the tournament, okay, and they play Thursday and Friday. Well, half of those guys don't make the cut, and they don't even play on Saturday and Sunday. So they had to. I mean, most of them have sponsors who were paying for them, but a lot of them, if you're on the bottom of that pile, right? You have to go there. I mean, you're paying for your own practice. You're paying for your own, even though there are probably sponsors. But you can travel somewhere, play, and some of these really good players just have a bad couple of rounds, and they don't even make the cut, and they get nothing.
all the good players get appearance money. They get paid whether they win, lose, or draw.
Well, what does that mean? So he's supposed to go in bed with terrorists?
No. What I'm saying is they were kind of ripe to be plucked because of that format, Scotty, is what I'm saying. There was a lot of guys out there. There are a lot of guys out there who weren't making the kind of money that you think they were making.
No, I know, right? And then they plan these satellite tours and they can make some good dough.
Well, but then someone throws a big bag of money in front of them. Like Brooks Koepka, he was at the top of the world 5 or 6 years ago, and then he literally fell off the map. He had an injury. He wasn't making the cuts anymore. He wasn't finishing in the top 20. I don't know if you saw that thing on Netflix, that swing thing. They kind of followed him around, and he was in despair. He was in depression. His game just totally vaporized, and he wasn't making the cut anymore. He didn't know if it was over for him. The way he was going, he was on a massive downward trajectory. And all of a sudden, someone shows up with $500 million in a bag and says, "Hey, you want to come with me?"
Is that what they gave him?
Yes.
Probably around that kind of money, yeah. $500 million. And you don't know if you're ever going to win another tournament again. I'm sorry. That's like your great grandkids are going to, pay for Prince.
I know, but we're talking about two separate issues, Timmy. Okay, fine. We're talking about some individual going for the money, but for the PGA, this institution, this established institution over many, many, many years, the sporting institution, to sell out to the Saudis when they were saying the complete opposite this whole time this league was formed. I mean, that's the issue.
I know, Scotty. I'm playing a little bit of the devil's advocate here. I'm on your side with this. I'm on your side. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Right.
I agree.
I understand
I agree.
I mean, I understand the appeal. I mean, who could turn down $500 million? None of us. Of course we would do that. I understand that. It's that the PGA was not supposed to.
Oh, they were on their soapbox, bashing them, and then all of a sudden they're hugging them,
Yeah.
It's a bad situation, but the problem is, like Joe said, is this going to lead to further leagues being purchased? And the answer is yes. They have unlimited money, and next thing you know, they'll be buying
and then
MLS.
Wherever they go, it turns into professional wrestling. It's rigged.
If you don't think that they have their eyes, and Timmy, you better close your eyes and your ears when I tell you, they will try to buy the NHL.
They would buy out the Jacobs and get all that.
Because
that would be a nice
they could probably pull that off. The NFL.
Wait. Will they sign my favorite players?
They won't, because if they were to get into the NHL, the salary cap would be gone.
Look, again, this is
because
I'm talking about buying the league, Joe. I'm not talking about buying a team.
Well, they'd have to get rid of the salary cap, because that's the way they operate. They buy in and then they rig it.
They're going to buy the leagues. They're not interested in buying teams. They're interested in buying leagues. Yeah. This is really bad. This is a bad day. This is a bad day. Bad week for sports. All right, we go to the Celtics. Look, Denver's a better team than the Boston Celtics. I've seen it through the whole playoffs. Even watching the first 3 games, do you think the Celtics would even had a chance against the Nuggets?
Yeah, I do. But it depends on which Celtics team shows up. We've
Yeah.
seen the Celtics. I think the Celtics, when they're cooking, I think they're the best team in the league. The
Did you-
Celtics, they're like a mental head case. That team, though, you
Yeah,
don't know.
but
It's like
they're
my golf
standing
game.
around.
I don't know I don't know who's showing up on the first tee every time I play golf. Am I going to hit it down the middle? Or am I going to hit it in the woods? The Celtics remind me of my golf game. Every night, I don't know who's going to be there.
Look,
Yeah.
the Heat are proving to be. They're just. This is a team that should never have made the finals, Jim.
Oh, well, they're exactly like the Florida Panthers in the NHL Finals right now.
Yeah, this is they're being exposed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, you get cheap shot artists like Lowry and Vincent, just garbage.
like so many that play, and look, Caleb Martin all of a sudden can't play, and he was freaking Michael Jordan against the Celtics. So that's really a referendum to
Well,
me.
I saw an interesting statistic in the 7 games against Miami between Tatum and Brown. They only had 6 assists to one another.
Wow.
In the first two games, Murray and Jokic had 27 assists between the two each other. They don't play together well.
No, they don't.
Either one's playing or the other's playing. They don't play together.
Lots of rumors going out there about Damon Lillard. We're
No.
not giving up Jaylen Brown for Damon Lillard. Would they
No.
stop?
10 years older, fine, great player, probably better player than Jalen, but limited, future to him. Same thing. I've heard the craziest things. Chris Paul for Marcus Smart. You're giving up 10 years right there.
Well, Chris Paul's going to get waived. Why would you give up Marcus Smart for him?
Yeah.
And then take his contract. He's going to get waived.
Yeah. Marcus has a much better contract, and he's 29.
What is Chris Paul like in that $45 million, $50 million range?
Yes.
He's somewhere around there. Yeah, nobody's doing that, but they're going to waive him. Nobody's. And first of all,
he's like 38, Tim. He's
a very good player, but when you get to be that age, just like with KG, you're lucky if you're going to get a third of the games, regular season games.
Yeah, they break down. Like Chris Paul has broken down in every playoffs over the last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't made it all the way to the end.
But Chris Paul, I like the idea of Chris Paul playing 50 minutes a game.
I like the idea of a point guard. Yes, yeah. I like that. A real facilitator type guy,
right,
a guy that can run an offense. I like that idea, but Chris Paul ain't that guy for me.
Not anymore. He's washed up.
Well, maybe if we got him, for a bag of balls,
No.
Even then, they wouldn't pay him that kind of dough.
No.
But the concept of a Chris Paul, like a healthy Chris Paul, is a good concept for the Celtics.
Yeah. Well, maybe 3 years ago, but at his age now, how much does he have left?
Yeah. Look, we got a guy. Remember when getting Kemba, nice guy, the right kind of guy to get, for that team, but he was washed up. He was all done.
But I don't know. We even when Kemba was playing well for the Celtics, I always considered him a shooting guard, not a point guard.
Yeah. But he was more of a facilitator than anyone else we've had.
Well, this kid, Yam Madir, was voted like
You always like these prospects. This guy can't get out of the Israeli league.
No. What are you talking about? He's in the Euro League, and he was voted like the top young player in the Euro League. He is straight up point guard.
Like a Rondo type? Rondo type?
Exactly. Does he get a shot with making the team and contributing next year?
He comes and plays in the summer league every year.
But he's developed.
Well, can't he develop in Maine? Why he can't even make the Maine team?
I think we got to see if this guy. We don't need a shooter. We just need a guy who can dish the ball off. We doesn't have to be a star player.
We need someone who can dish the ball, get the ball to guys that are open, Just look at guys like Al and Grant Williams, not good shooters, but if you give them a wide open three, they'll can it 50% of the time, right?
Yeah.
If you got a facilitator and he keeps hitting the open guy, that'll happen. You'll get 50% shooting from three and you'll win every game.
And yes, I like prospects. I like prospects a lot.
Doesn't matter the sport.
No.
Is there a place? I mean, this has become a 3-point league. Is there a place in this league still for a guard that can't shoot threes?
That's a great point. Yes, there is. Absolutely. Because if the other four
Jimmy
guys.
Butler.
No,
Look
it's
at Jimmy Butler. How many threes does he shoot? Maybe 1, 2 a game? Tops?
What was it 3 years ago where Rondo was almost single-handedly beating the Celtics in the playoffs and then he got hurt?
Yeah.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Right?
That's why Murray's such an incredible player, because he is a good point guard.
Yeah.
And he can hit
And he
the
can
threes,
shoot the lights out.
he can shoot the twos. Murray.
Oh, runs a great pick and roll with Jokic too,
Murray is.
Well, I guess this clarifies who the best twosome in the league is right now, right? I mean, everyone was touting Brown and Tatum, but I mean, this clarifies.
Jim, haven't you heard the rumors of Rondo coming back as an assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a done deal, no?
No, I guess not.
No, and then they signed Cassell, which would.
And the Rondo stuff stopped right then.
Yeah, they may not only have room for one for Celtic.
I think Rondo might only want to be an assistant coach if he was the top assistant. You know how he was.
No, he would never. He's not going anywhere to be a top assistant.
Right, but that would be the way Rondo would approach it. If he couldn't be the top guy, he wouldn't go.
Doesn't he have like a really contentious personality?
I think he's mellowed out. No, that's a great point. I think he's mellowed out. But Cassell is good coaching guards, and maybe that's a duplicate skill set.
Yeah, that's Cassell's forte.
And then
Although
I think
he
Rondo
had James Harden to coach the last couple of years.
I think Rondo would have probably also asked for some good money.
So if you were running the Celtics right now, are you going after like a big post-up center or a playmaking guard?
Great question. I think big guy. If you got to go all in and get a big.
Everyone's looking at Jokic and saying, "I want a big guy just like him."
Oh, I mean, he
is huge, though. He is big.
The guy
he's not just tall; he's wide.
Oh yeah, and strong.
Yeah,
he's smart. He has great touch.
You could have 3 guys hanging off him; he's still gonna score.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys with body types like him. It's what's between his ears that makes him different, I think.
Well, just so you know, Ramirez hits his second home run in 3 innings, and the Dermody experiment is going really well. They're down 3-0 in the 3rd inning, and that's all on Heim. If Heim gets fired by the 8th inning, I'm good with it.
Is my 70-win prediction looking a little?
Looking better.
It looks better today. Yeah, Russell won't be bragging about his 86 wins too much. It'll feel like my 98 win.
They're no longer on course for the 86.
John, you'll never get away from the 98 year.
Yeah, well, we'll see about this year. This is looking pathetic. All right, boys, we'll go to the New England Patriots. It's Christian Gonzalez's world, and we're just living in it. I mean, how much Patriots porn do we need? I just need 6 seconds of Christian Gonzalez and I'm good.
Oh, making one-handed catches and
every day. So today was McCourty's day to say that he's talked to some fellas in camp, some players, and they say this kid is the real deal, and that's all I need. 20 years old.
See who's going to be Devin's replacement. It looks like Jalen Mills.
Yeah, or Phillips.
And remember, McCourty started out as a cornerback and then had to become a safety. Remember, he was great his rookie year. Then his second year, he stunk as a corner, so they changed him to safety. Well, Jalen Mills stunk as a cornerback, so now they're going to make him the
see, that's what I disagree with you. To me, I thought Mills was pretty good. maybe he had problems getting on the field, but I always thought Mills did a pretty good job.
I have to, Joe, it's hard for me to go against anything Uncle Joe says.
No, Joe, sometimes he gets stuck on these guys he hates, and he just
No,
can't do
Jalen
anything
Mills.
now.
You're thinking you were the one who liked Miles Bryant. He's the guy you like, not Jalen Mills.
I turned on Miles Bryant real quick. He was terrible.
Yes, I know you turned on
I didn't want him cut.
You turned on a player? What?
No.
No, fucking hated Bryant, but no, I didn't want him cut.
Let's get back to Gonzalez and how much we love him.
Oh, oh my God!
I mean, it's like he moves. I don't want to jinx him, but he moves like Mike Haynes.
He does.
And he's big like Haynes too. He's a big kid.
They're very similar players, and of course, obviously, we're calling back something from close to
40 years ago.
No, 1976, Joe. So that would be like 47 years ago.
Yeah.
But Mike Haynes is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So we'll pump the brakes a little.
And he became a Hall of Fame player in another uniform.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He went to the Raiders. But he was obviously a great player for the Patriots too. But yeah, he looks very similar. I think the only wrap on Gonzalez is will he be willing to tackle?
Does he have to? I mean,
of course he does.
Got to be in run support.
Yeah.
Well, didn't what's his name make a pretty good living not tackling?
Dion.
Yeah, Dion. But he had a great skill set too of great ball skill. He had great ball skills.
Gilmore didn't like to tackle.
Nope.
How about
a lot of those corners don't? They're little guys. This guy's a little bigger. He's almost the size of a safety. He's got length too.
Now, do you think they just I don't know if he'll be good enough right off the bat, but stick him on, the best receiver, and that's all he's responsible for, kind of.
Well, you can also stick him on the tallest receiver too. We've always had that problem too. I mean, look, the guy is a plug and play guy. He's going to be a starter, and that's your first round pick should always be a starter, right?
Yeah,
unless it's a quarterback. Late round quarterback.
It's physically mature enough.
What do you think? What do you make of the Christian Barmore incident the other day?
That just happens, Joe. Come on, I mean,
sucker punching a guy from behind.
It's fellas being fellas. Come on, I'm sure Strange was bothering the shit out of him, and he just wanted to fucking give him a little fucking smack. This is what they do for a living, Joe. They hit each other. I mean, this should not be news. This is it's a very aggressive career.
Speaking of
throwing punches at a guy from behind. Yeah, that's
he's fine.
Did anyone see in the news the two linemen that got robbed at gunpoint recently?
Yeah.
I mean, that is some ballsy robbers, right? Both of these guys, you've seen NFL linemen in person. It's like you can't believe human beings exist like that. I guess there were like 6 guys with guns, but that's what it took to rob 2 guys.
Yeah, there you go. The guns equal, yeah.
I mean, those guys are wearing a lot of bling.
Yeah, all the people you like picking to rob. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to pick 2 NFL defensive linemen. I don't know.
Well, that's what they. That's who they run with. They run with some dangerous customers. And at some point, you're going to get burned. All right. Could it get worse for the Boston Bruins? Bruce Cassidy, the coach they got rid of, who we all liked very much,
is going to be drinking from the Stanley Cup.
Is going to be drinking from the Stanley Cup. None of us we'd be hypocrites to say that we weren't happy with Jim Montgomery most of the season and that the Bruins needed a change, but this is not.
They did. And you know what? He's a fresh voice in Vegas. That's why it's working. Yeah. Give him 4 or 5 years and he'll be getting shown the door again.
Doesn't matter.
Monty got more out of this team in this season than Cassidy did in any 2 years.
Okay.
He got a historic effort this year out of the team, the same team that Cassidy had, and put 10 wins on top of anything Cassidy ever did. So to Tim's point, Cassidy's good when he first comes in. Give him a couple years and
Oh, no, I like Cassidy. We all like Cassidy, and,
Yeah.
and God bless him. Somebody has to win the cup if it wasn't the Bruins.
He had lost the room.
But he sure gained the room in
in
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
How many years has Vegas been in?
My son Colin just made a tremendous catch.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good for him.
All right, we'll let you go. All right.
No, that's okay.
No. I mean, we want you. Of course, Colin is a
Yeah,
big star. We all
proud
know it.
Papa.
Bottom of the fourth inning, Sox down by 3-0. They're gonna just lay down, and then they're gonna go into Yankee Stadium. All right, Timmy.
All right, so hey, I'm wondering if you can bet on anything now with like 2 minutes. You can bet on a hockey game with 30 seconds to go, or a baseball game. What if you went on DraftKings right now? What's the over under for the Red Sox?
For wins for the rest of the season? I don't know. That I'd have to do a deeper dive. I don't know how to get to that one.
Yeah, those futures are not on the front pages. They like to get you betting in the game by game, inside a game and stuff.
Minute by minute.
Yeah. They can get pot you from your money faster that way.
Just so you know, you get right now plus 600 for the Red Sox to win tonight. Which is not that bad, right?
$100 bet?
No, plus, so you get 6-1 right now. They're down 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth. So you can get
that's what Tim likes, those bets. That's his
for
forte.
a $100 bet, you can get 600 right now.
Right now, you get 6-1.
That's not a bad bet.
It's I mean,
The Guardians don't score a lot of runs, so they might not score any more for the rest of the
you
night.
get plus 600. Yeah, I mean, it's worth maybe a couple.
I might.
But you see that one they've been pushing the last couple of days. If your team goes up by 2 runs, you get the early win.
You get
because you can cash out early, right, Bill?
Yeah, if you get up by 2 runs, you can cash out as a win.
the full amount, right?
Yep.
Full amount.
And you cash out as a win. If they go up 2-0 in the first, you cash out. It's just like you won the 9-inning game.
Really?
Yeah, that was an option.
You got to opt in. It's one of those bonus bets type things. It's one of those things you have to opt into.
It's all dangerous. I'm almost giving
Oh
up.
yeah, they're suckers bets. They're trying to suck you into.
I'm separating myself from DraftKings. I'm on a horrible losing streak. Oh my God. Terrible.
Well, you got to stop with the 5 in-game, 5-game, way parlays.
I just took a bunch of money out and paid for my cottage down the Cape.
So there you go. Yeah, you did really well betting on the Heat.
Well, I did it betting against Boston.
I know. Oh my God. I know this ingrate. He kept on betting on Philly. He kept on betting Miami.
But the reverse jinx has worked well for Tim.
I know, my God.
The Bruins. I made more money, but on Miami winning those games.
All right, boys. So that's our show for tonight. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 p.m. for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.